So this is one common question that people have, right? Where to invest? Equity markets, mutual funds, insurance policies, peer-to-peer lending, gold bonds, venture capital, angel investing, small businesses. Can I take a franchise of new business? Can I invest in real estate, property? Can I earn some commercial rental income, right? So these are so many options that are available. And how are you making the decision where to invest your hard-earned money? How are you going about making these decisions where to invest your hard-earned money? Okay, so we discussed that in just a little while. Feel free to keep the session as interactive as possible. I share what I know, but that need not be everything. So please feel free to keep sharing your point of views. Okay, so just to give you a little thing on various options. So we all know post office or bank deposits as an option to invest, right? You don't want me to dwell on that. It's easy, it's straightforward. You give the bank the money, they pay you an interest, and they return the principal at the end of that period, right? So this is one option that you're all considering. Okay, so that's one option. Now, another option that I'm just trying to explain what are the various options. Do we know or do we understand all of them? Then we'll go into whether they're good or bad in a little while. Okay. Rental from residential properties or commercial properties, is that an option that you would consider? Okay, so then you buy the property, you take a loan, you pay an interest, you maintain the property, you might get an rental anywhere between 2 to 3%. If it's a commercial property, you probably get a rental of anywhere between 6 to 7%. So that's how rental incomes work in India. So this is one option for investing. Plus, when you do a property, you also count on the capital appreciation of the asset, right? So this is another option. Another option that people I've heard consider is invest in gold. Gold has had a superb run up. So in the last 3 years, if you look at the various asset classes, gold has been the stellar performer vis-a-vis various other asset classes. So gold has been brilliant. So that's one option. Anybody who knows chit funds? Chit funds? You want to know what chit funds are? Are they an investment option? Have you ever heard of chit funds being investment options? Anyone like to unmute and explain what chit funds are? Okay. Yeah.
It's a group where people kind of put money on a monthly basis,
Yeah.
and one of the person gets the option to kind of take away the entire chit. So if the chit is usually done for 1 lakh, for example,
Mm.
everybody starts paying a certain amount on a monthly basis.
Mm.
So either by lucky dip or by asking the moderator, that person gets the 1 lakh minus whatever amount he needs to pay, and then he pays the remaining EMIs as chits.
Mm.
So the entire money gets comes back to the guy who is actually running the chit.
Mm.
And end of the chit, if you don't take it, then you would be the last person to get that share of the chit. So
Mm.
usually it works out to be around 10 to 11%.
10 to 11%. So if it's a bid, then it depends on how desperate somebody is.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah. Right. Good. So that's the kind of, so it's a group of people who come together and make an investment. And as and when during the time of making the investment also, you can take out the money. So that these are very traditional options, people just getting together and doing it. There are mainstream companies also like Shriram chit funds and other chit companies. There have been chit funds that went bust and did the wrong things as well. There have been established good quality chit funds as well. So chit funds have been one of the very traditional investment options. So what we saw now, deposits, gold, real estate, and chit funds are traditional investment options. Most of us have seen our parents make these investments, and we know it by practice. These are investment options. These options still remain. Okay, so what are other options that are available? Is it okay if I show you a video? So let me show you a video. Just give me a minute. A kid explains the stock market in such a beautiful way in just 1 minute. Okay, it's amazing. So I thought I should share it with you. Tell me if you can see this.
Yeah.
Okay, so something going wrong here.
it's Malia. Today I'm going to show you what the stock market is in under 1 minute. Brought to you by Our Rich Journey. A stock market is where people buy and sell stocks and bonds. Businesses need money to grow. Some businesses sell shares, also known as stocks. Stocks are units of ownership in a company. A person who buys stocks in a company is called a shareholder. Shareholders own part of a company. The price of a single stock can be from under $10 to more than $300,000. The prices of shares constantly go up and down. When shareholders invest in the stock market, they hope they can buy the stock at a lower price and then sell it at a higher price. People who hold on to stocks longer than most, to about 15 years or more, are more likely to succeed in stock markets. So that's it. That's the end of my 1 minute video about stocks.
Wasn't that cute? So that's 1 minute video on stocks explained by a 10-year-old. I think that covered pretty much everything about stock markets. So that was so amazing. So we all understand stock markets, right? You don't need more information about what stocks are. And of course, mutual funds, you know how people come together, they pool their money and give it to a fund manager who in turn invests in the stock market and shares the returns with all of us. So that's on mutual funds. And we all know insurance policies. There are different types of insurance policies. Some of them are investment insurance policies, like the unit-linked policies, the endowment plans, the retirement plans, and the child plan. The term plan is not an investment option. So we know these as our generation, or maybe just before us, a generation of investments. So people who've been investing since the 1990s or maybe the 2000s are well aware of these investment options, right? Equities, mutual funds, insurance policies. So these are some investment options. Now, then there are some really wacky investment options that the millennials talk about, the new age investment options called peer-to-peer lending. Okay, so it's not really new age or something. Anybody knows what peer-to-peer lending is? Would you like to share some thoughts on this? Anybody peer-to-peer lending?
Bhuvana, I can share a couple of points. See, basically, like we used to hear people about lending money to outsiders, right? It is similar. The only difference is we are doing it online, and then the risk factor is very less when you compare directly. Like, for example, let's say if you have 1 lakh rupees, we won't be able to lend 1,000 rupees to 100 people outside. But online, what you can do is that you can give the 1,000 to 100 people, and then there is a background check, and these are registered NBFCs. So, and how the repayment works is based on the credit profile again. So if the person is having a very good credit score, they charge about 8 to 10%. But if he's having a very less credit score, like they're charged as high as even 22 to 24%. As on date, they're doing pretty good actually. There are many like Finzi and Monexo and all. So
these platforms try to bring lenders and borrowers in one place.
Yes, right? yes, yeah.
And an example, please. Can you name an example of a platform like this?
Monexo, Finzi.
Okay.
Yeah, a few other peer-to-peer lending where you
Faircent.
Yeah, Faircent also.
Yeah. Okay. So these are various.
Faircent is there. Lendit is there. Yeah.
Lendin Club. There's another.
What about the security? Means is it RBI governed?
Yeah. So these platforms are NBFCs. They are registered NBFCs, but security, it's a risk. So you're lending through the platform to a borrower, and if you expect too high returns from it, then you know that the quality of the borrower is not very good, right? So it's usually a basket, right? Krishna, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
A basket. There could be good borrowers, there could be suboptimal borrowers as well, but they put together.
Yeah, you can select the borrowers actually. So like if you're okay with 7 to 8% interest, then you can select a very good borrower. But if you want to try it out, then you can select a borrower who's having a very less credit score. And then if it works out, you can earn about 15-16%. If it doesn't work out, it's zero because the person can default. So it's like a personal loan, like how banks do. Like, so if somebody defaults on a personal loan, the bank can't do much, right? This is similar.
Yes. So it's got risk, but there are risk management mechanisms. Right? So this is an option, new age option. So millennials like Krishna know more about it. Good, great.
So,
And then this is
sorry, one question on that. So, is that the previous one related to some instant loan apps kind of a thing that we were hearing in the news recently?
Not actually. The only difference is that in the instant loan app, the app owner itself is, I mean, app owner or whoever is funding them is giving out the loans. But in a peer-to-peer lending, it's like Amazon basically. Like, so Amazon doesn't own the products, right? Somebody's selling, somebody's buying. In the P2P also, somebody, let's say if I have money, I invest there, and then let's say if you need money, you can borrow from there. So it's like connecting you and me between us, not like those loan apps.
but you don't necessarily will know who's borrowing, or the borrower will not necessarily know who's lending.
I will know who is taking money from me, and also I'll get to know what is his profile and everything.
Okay.
But the borrower might not be knowing who is lending.
Okay. Any questions here?
Thank you.
This is one option. It's good, bad, I'm not talking about. We're just learning what options are there. Okay. And another one is, so somebody was talking, right? Deepa was telling about earning, creating passive income. So investing in businesses or franchises. And these are some global franchises with, you can, if you have a space and then you can invest something like 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs, you can take a McDonald's franchise or a Subway franchise and run it. And so these are also investment options. There's actually a parallel. So I know somebody here who runs an Apsara ice cream franchise, right? On a day, he has a day job. He works in TCS. And he comes and sits here at 6 o'clock in the evening, and the shop is open till 12 o'clock. And so it's a side business for him. So this is another investment that's worked well for him here. Another one is, of course, venture capital angel investing. Anybody, any thoughts on this? Venture capital angel investing?
What's the difference? I would like to know.
Venture capital angel investing. Okay, so angel investing, seed investing, venture capital are just stages in which the companies are, the ideas are. Right, the seed capital is very, very early stage in a business. So the ideas just come and they have a business plan, and also you need seed capital to just start off, and then comes angel investing, then comes venture capital to expand, and then they go IPO. And so it's at various stages of the business. You could enter, you could exit. So I've had some experiences doing a little bit of all of this. So this is also, you could do as little as 1 lakh, 2 lakhs of investments. So these are all various investment options that are available. New age investment options. There are some really wacky ideas also that go around, especially Praneeth in Hyderabad and all, where you can invest in a local business that you love, and they pay out a regular income. And primarily, it's all investment in a business. It's equivalent to an equity investing only, an equity investment, because you're taking a share in the profit. And if it goes well, it goes well. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Right? So the high risk, high return payoff. And so you're not even doing established companies. You're doing companies at very early stages. So a lot of things can go wrong, but if it works, it works. So India is now becoming very entrepreneurial. A lot of startup is the thing. So everybody's startupping. So there are a lot of opportunities for investments here. Just clear? Does it make any sense to you? Any questions here? No? Okay. Now, we spoke about various investment options that are available, right? So which of them should you be investing in? Which of them would be best suitable for you?
There cannot be a single one. We need to be diversifying ourselves, no?
Okay, yeah, we should be. But what do you look for in an investment? So when you pick up an investment, what should you be looking for in it? What should you be? What are things that you will keep in mind, saying, what do I need from an investment? What should you need from an investment?
Safety of capital.
Safety of capital.
Capital protection.
Okay. Capital protection.
Less risk.
Less risk. Okay. Okay. Liquidity. Absolutely. So these are 5 things that most investors want from their investment. So you pick your choice.
Tax efficient.
Tax efficient. Correct. Absolutely. That's be tax efficient. Totally. So investors want high returns from their investment with the lowest risk possible, and easy to liquidate, easy to maintain, and low cost and low taxes. Am I right? Is there anything that I missed? You look for information like this, right?
It's actually asking for something without trying to get into the sea without getting wet.
Yeah. We joke about it saying, yeah, high returns, low risk, easy liquidity, easy to maintain, low cost, low tax, fun, full charge, everything, right? So I mean that's fair, but as an investor, you want it all. Like somebody is making noise, so I'm going to mute you.
Yeah, the time frame.
Yeah, the time frame. Yeah, so the time frame will determine whether you can take. Someone there who's making that noise. So should I just mute? Okay, I managed to mute everyone. So you guys unmute yourself before talking. Okay, sorry. Okay. Okay. So we were talking about usually this is what people want from their investments, right? You want high returns, you want low risk, you want easy liquidity, easy to maintain, low cost, and taxes, right? So we did a little survey in the group. If you remember, we did a little survey to find out what's most important for you. Do you want more returns from your investments, or do you want low risk from your investments? Do you want easy liquidity? What is important for you before you make an investment? And we got some very interesting responses. I wouldn't say interesting, mostly on known lines, but almost 70% of you ranked safety as your number one requirement. Number one requirement was safety of capital, and only 10% of you ranked returns as your number one requirement, and 20% of you ranked liquidity as your number one requirement. Having said that, returns featured in the top two requirements of almost 60% of the respondents. So almost 60% of you wanted returns to be in the top two, and 50% of you wanted liquidity in the top two. So these are choices that you're making, right? So when you're looking at an investment, you're saying, I want safety of capital, or I want higher returns from my investment. I want full liquidity on my investments. When you make that choice, right? So what is it? So you just understand when you want returns, then you're obviously taking some risk. Or when you want, unless you give up liquidity, you will not get returns. So it's a play, right? There is no one single investment that can give you the highest return, the lowest risk, the easiest liquidity, lowest cost, ease of maintenance, and all of that. It's not possible, right? So that's exactly why, like Deepak was rightly mentioning, we put various assets together. So that's a conversation for another time. Having said that, should we just look at, if we look at returns, if returns are something that you have wanted, right? If returns are something that you want from your investments, what is the return that you should expect from the various investment options that we spoke about? So we spoke about various options, right? We spoke about deposits, we spoke about equity market, we spoke about mutual funds, we spoke about all these very interesting investment options. So what is the kind of return that you should expect from your investments? Yes. So Sumit says that your returns should beat inflation. Yes, if your objective is to protect the value of your money, to protect your standard of living, it should be inflation beating. Prabhakar says 15% CAGR is what he should get. So please share on the chat, guys, what is the return that is fair return on an investment? If you're making an investment, what is the kind of return that you should expect over the short term, medium term, long term, whatever? 12%, okay. Okay. 12% CAGR. So some people talk CAGR. Okay, interesting. 15% CAGR. CAGR, compounded annual growth rate. Neelam says 10 to 12%. Diptesh says more than 10%, 15%, 9%, 15% CAGR. GDP plus inflation. Nice. Okay, Mukesh, I like it. GDP plus inflation. Okay. So if GDP and inflation drop, then lower returns something that you brace up for. 20 to 30%. Come on, Rajiv. Yeah. Why isn't people saying 100% from 200%? Anyway, there are people who got 300% returns on stocks, right? Is that something that you can expect in the long term? Okay. So I'm just coming back to this and saying, guys, almost all investments will tend to their average, long-term average. Eventually, they'll get to the average return. So if we can look at what the average returns have been from various asset classes, would that be of help to you? So yes, 12, 14%. Would that be of help to you? Okay. So while, see, it's very interesting, right? So some asset classes, we talk about returns and percentages. Some asset classes, we talk about multiples. Okay, so if it's fixed deposit, we say 6% return, 5.5% return. That way we talk. Gold and all, if we say I bought at 30,000 rupees, now it is 2 lakh rupees. Or property, we'll say this property I bought at 20 lakh rupees and now it is 2 crore rupees, right? So we, for some investments we talk percentages, and some investments we talk multiples. Okay, so unless we are able to find some common ground and say, okay, I'm either going to talk percentages for all the investments or I'm going to talk multiples for all the investments, we won't be able to make the comparison to say which one is better. Does that make sense? Yeah, does that make sense? Okay, so I am going to share something here. Okay, so let's just assume that you have various asset classes and then you have to make that decision on which asset to invest in based on the returns. Okay, based on the returns. We're not talking about risk now. We'll talk about returns. And if you had 1 crore rupees 3 years back, and if you had invested in these assets, what would your returns have been? Had you invested in a property in Bombay? Had you invested in a property in Delhi? Had you invested in a property in Bangalore? This 1 crore would have been, 1.0497. So sometimes it's lost value. Okay. So debt, if you had invested in something like a deposit, if it had given you something like 7.5%, then your 1 crore would now be about 122,208. Gold, of course, had a phenomenal run in the last 3 years. Your 1 crore would now be 1.56. Nifty, of course, would have been 135. And we just picked up some mutual funds. So actually, these mutual funds, because they have a 25-year history, they were picked. So these mutual funds, ignore the names if you don't want to see it. It's just longevity and not any recommendation here. So guys, I want to make it very clear. This is not investment advice. It's not investment recognition. We're just looking at data. Okay, so in the last 3 years, this is how returns have been, or this is how money has multiplied or grown in these various asset classes. This has been the last 3 years. So of course, you will invest for the future, but you only have the past to look up to as data, right? So we're looking at past data and just trying to make sense. Okay. So if it was not 3 years and had you started investing 10 years back, or had you assume that you had 1 crore of rupees 10 years back and you made some investments in each of these asset classes, how much do you think those assets would be worth? You want to see? Okay. So Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore properties, 1 crore become 175, 150. Okay, so the last 10 years, the returns have, in Bombay, the returns on real estate has only been 38%, and 38%, 42%. So that's how real estate has done, which is in the whole 10 years, okay, not compounded annual. In the whole absolute return of 30-40% is what it has been in real estate. Debt, of course, 1 crore would have become 2.17 because debt, we picked up debt funds to do this calculation. Gold, 1 crore would be 1.85 crores, which is not bad. Nifty would have been 2.71. When I say Nifty, I'm saying just by ETF, just by the Nifty stocks or 50 stocks of Nifty, which is an indication of equity markets. So it would have been 2.71 crores. And these mutual funds would have been anywhere between 3.3 crores to 4.34 crores. So that 1 crore investment decision 10 years back, had you made to invest in any of these, this would have been your returns. This is what you would be sitting on right now. Okay. Do you want to see even further? Let's see what would have happened had you done this investment 25 years back, 1995. We went back to 1995 data and picked it up. Mumbai, Bandra West, Delhi, Vasant Vihar, Bangalore. So a 1 crore would now be about 7 crores had you invested in Bangalore in 1995. Okay, I don't know if there were properties available for 1 crore, but about 7 crores is what that would be. And debt would have been 7.5 crores. So real estate actually underperformed debt in the last 25 years. Gold, about 9.5 crores. Nifty would have been 17 crores. Nifty would have been 17 crores. And these mutual funds would have been 99 crores, 108 crores, 9.35 crores, 5.19 crores. So I just picked up these mutual funds because they have a 25-year history. So we know what price we bought and NAVs are declared every day. So it's easy for us to track. Okay, so 25 years, if you had that kind of money and made these investment decisions in these various asset classes, 25 years later, this would have been your destiny. Is this ringing a bell? Are you guys thinking? What are you thinking? Why don't you share what you're thinking in your mind? What are thoughts in your mind? Share it on the chat box. And I want to know what you're thinking about in terms of return. Or you want to unmute yourself and say something. MFs have given the best returns, yes. Real estate may vary by locations, absolutely, very true. So we just picked up one location and did this. So it was just equity is for the long term, yes. Time to enter and time to stay invested are the key, yes. MFs are winners in the long run. Not much in value, okay. So, okay, are you saying that this data point was not of much value, or you're saying the investments didn't gather any value? So can you clarify? Swaminathan. Mutual funds is ideal one. In the long term, okay, so I'm just saying in the long term. Investments have not been in much value, okay? Okay, good. Okay, so I'm going to let this stock SIPs work. MF is a good option than equity as per this data, yes. So, I mean, it's also important for you to see in 3 years, had you taken this, MFs have underperformed Nifty and gold. Okay, so also put that in perspective. I'm not here coming to promote mutual funds. Okay, this is just data that we're presenting here, and for you to see to beat inflation in long run. Yeah, equity. So it's not even comparable, right? So you're talking of 7 crores and talking of 100 crores. 7 crores and 100 crores, 7.5 crores and 100 crores. Right? It's not even comparable. Right? India's market opened up, definitely wonderful run. Will this trend continue? Yeah, that's a very good question. So will India grow? So that these are all existential questions. So we should answer it sometime. But Satya, for now, what we have to just keep in mind is almost all investments, if you're investing for the long term, they will tend to the long-term average. The returns from those investments will tend to the long-term average. And I'm just leaving this thought with you guys as to the various investment options, and if you have that kind of time frame, what is yeah, so that's what. So Bangalore, different properties in various areas, they've had different runs. Yeah, okay, great.
Bhuvna,
Yes, Rashmi.
Surprisingly, debt hasn't done very well in regardless of whatever term you took.
Yeah, so we took debt funds, average of debt schemes that invested in maybe a combination of debentures and bonds and all. So it's probably not just fixed deposits. Rashmi? Okay, so why I didn't take fixed deposits just like that was fixed deposit rates vary, right? So you have fixed deposits that give you just 5%, and there are fixed deposits that go up to giving you 8.5%, 9% also. Because if it's an NBFC FD, or somebody was telling me Tata Motor Finance FD was giving something like 8.75%, right? So just to be on an average side, we picked up debt mutual funds because data is easily available. Okay, so I'm just leaving this thought with you on the returns, right? But, okay, now there are these very interesting products that come out in the market that talk about these things. Have you seen these? Has anybody presented these to you? So this is something I want to dispel. I'm going to take some time and do this to find out when you see products like this, this is a indicative insurance policy where it's saying cash will come at different points in time, and you will get some maturity amount, there'll be some assured amount, there'll be some terminal bonus, there'll be this, there'll be that. It's a combination of too many things. Now, how do you make sense of this and find out what is the bloody return that this product is giving me? Just tell me, what is the return that I get? Is it beating my inflation or no? So Sumit was rightly saying here, he said that your returns should beat inflation. Right, obviously, because the purpose of investing is deferring your consumption. You're investing because you can spend it in a future date on the same things that you're spending on today, and you want to have enough money to adjust for the for the cost of inflation, right? So if your investments are not even beating inflation, then you're losing value. Now if you're doing your budgets and if you're comparing your budgets year on year, you have an idea of what you're spending on and what your personal inflation is. Assume that you do, okay? So I think my personal inflation could be anywhere between 10%, 9 and 10%. And the bare minimum return that I want from my investment is 9 and 10%. Okay. Now, a product like this comes up and then they are giving me this thing of you invest for 5 years and then you will get something and then you'll get something. It confuses me because I don't know what returns it actually gives me. Would it help you to know how to calculate these returns? Would it help you to know how to calculate these returns? Tell me, would it help you to know how to calculate these returns? We thought it makes sense for us to share. Because a lot of these products keep coming up in the market and we keep getting this also in the groups also, these discussions. So this product has come, is it a good investment? Should I invest in this? Yeah, so those questions are coming up. Now, how do we know whether this is good or not? Okay, now I'm going to leave this to Krishna, who is our in-house techie, who is very good with all his calculations, and I'm going to make him the co-host. And Krishna, are you there? Yes, he's there. Krishna is going to help us all do some simple calculations on Excel to find out, okay, all of us can do this, simple calculations on Excel to find out what is the return on a particular policy or a product, okay. If it has cash flows like this, what is the return that particular product is giving us, okay. Yes, Amrita, that's very true. Keep them separate, that one. Okay, we should not mix. Yes. Now, but having said that, let's go through this. No, these products keep coming up. Krishna, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Yes. Okay. So I made you the host, and now I'm
sharing my screen.
off my video. Yes. Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. So is my screen visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Perfect. So basically, I mean, there is a lot of products being sold in the market.
Increase your volume.
Krishna, you will have to talk a little louder, please.
Yeah. Sure.
Now it's better. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, the mic was off. So basically, what I was trying to say is there are majorly two kind of products. One thing is that, like for example, you must have heard of HDFC Sanchay Plus or some insurance policies which tell you like, okay, invest X amount for so many years, and then you'll be getting a guaranteed amount at the end of maturity. Let's say if you invest 100 rupees every year, by the end of 10th year, let's say if you get 1000 rupees, it's easy to calculate the returns. I'll just show you one thing. The only formula which we need to remember is something called XIRR, internal rate of return. X stands for variable. So for example, let's say we take today's date, 7-20. Okay. Now let's say we take a policy which is running for, let's say, 10 years, starting from today for the next 10 years. So just enter 2 dates, and then if you take your cursor to the corner of the cell, you can just drag it down, and then the Excel automatically fills the data for you. So is this clear? Like you enter the dates, even if you're not familiar with Excel, like you can always enter the dates for the next 10 years or how many years is the policy for. And the next column, what we need to do is we need to enter how much are we paying. Like for example, if you look at your passbook or your bank statement, all the debits are in negative, right? And all the credits are in positive, like red and green, if you see the passbooks there. In the similar way in Excel also, all your debits, in the sense the money which you're paying is a debit from your account, right? So that is entered as minus. So for example, let's say if you're investing 5,000 rupees per year, put it as minus because it is a investment from our side. So let's say we are investing 5,000 for the next 9 years, and let's say by the time of maturity, let's say we are getting 70,000, just for example. Now, normally how it looks like is you have invested about 45,000 and you have got a final maturity amount of 70,000. So how we calculate the return is, all you need to remember is put an equal to sign, type in XIRR, put an equal to sign, type in XIRR, open the bracket, and there will be two things which the Excel will be asking you. First thing is values. So values in the sense, just select this column, the minus 5,000 till the 70,000 column, and put a comma. The next question which it is asking is dates. Just select the dates here. I'll just repeat it again. So it shows up in decimal. You can convert it into percentage. So in this product, you're getting about 8.7%. Was it clear? Like I'll explain again with another example, but till now, was it clear?
Yeah, it is.
Perfect.
Okay. So, okay, I'm just deleting this. Now you must have heard of some products which tell you that, okay, invest for 5 years. You don't need to invest anything for 6, 7, 8, 9. And then at the end of time, you'll be getting again some other amount. So here in the earlier example, what we have seen is we have invested for the first 9 years. In the 10th year, we have got the amount, right? In this example, let's say if today is 1st January 2021. Yeah, I'm just entering the dates again. This also works for monthly also. Yeah. So for example, let's say they ask you to invest for 5,000 for 4 years or for 5 years. And let's say there is nothing to be invested from this 6, 7, 8, 9 year. You don't need to enter anything, or else you can just put it as 0. Even if you leave it there, I mean, even if you do not enter any value, Excel will give you the result. But just to avoid any confusion, you can always put it as 0. And let's say again, the final amount is, let's say 45,000. Now again, what we need to do is equal to symbol, XIRR, bracket open. The Excel will tell you what to enter. Like even if you get confused to which to select first, is it the dates or the values? The Excel itself will tell you. Like the first thing is values. So just select the values. You can use your mouse and then scroll till from the starting to the ending. Comma. Now the next section is dates. Just select the dates here. So here we are getting about 8.6%. So are we clear till now?
Super. Perfect. I understand.
Yes.
Yeah. Now there are one more kind of products. What they tell you is how the insurance agents sell these things is, if the premium paying term is 15 years, it means that we need to pay a premium for 15 years, but from the 10th year, you'll be getting something from the policy. It means that, let's say they tell you, pay 10,000 for the next 15 years, but from the 11th year, okay, I'll just show you here. Just a second. I'm just showing you various options here. Please stop me right away if something isn't clear. So what the agent is telling us, invest 10,000 every year for the next 15 years. But the agent is also telling, from the 11th year, you'll be getting 5,000 as money back, or what they will call it. So what they're saying is you'll be getting 5,000 from the 11th year till the end of 15th year. There are some policies, right? You must have heard of like invest X amount, but in between you'll start getting an amount. So in such a scenario, what you need to do is just do an addition of these two. Like, so minus 10,000 is the outflow, 5,000 is the inflow which you're getting. So how much is the net? It is minus 5,000, right?
Correct.
So just enter it as minus 5,000 here. Sorry. Just enter it as minus 5,000. So what we are trying to do is, we are seeing how much is the outflow from our account and how much is the inflow we are getting from the policy. Considering that there is no taxes on that inflow which we are getting, the net is minus 5,000, right? So again, just enter that. And let's say the final maturity is, for example, 1,80,000. I'm just taking some random number here. Again, enter XIRR. Select the values. Yeah, it is 4.7%. In the 16th year, there was no inflow, there was no outflow, so I left it blank. You can either write it as 0 or leave it blank. Excel will still give you an answer here. So the answer here is 4.7%. Till now it is clear, right?
Yes.
Now I'll show you one example. You must have heard of HDFC Sanchai Plus and all. So what those products tell us, invest for 10 years and then from the 11th year, you'll be getting a fixed amount for the next 25 years. So for example, HDFC Sanchai, what it tells us, invest 50,000 for the first 10 years. The amount here is showing us 52,250 because it is including of GST. So here you're investing about 5,22,500 for the next 10 years. And from the 13th year till the end of 75th year, you're getting about 48,000. And in the end, you're again getting back whatever you have paid also. Now here it looks really good. Like, what they're trying to say is invest 50,000 for 10 years. From the 13th year, you'll be getting 50,000. And at the end of the policy term, you're getting whatever you have paid also. So it looks like a very good policy, right? But if you see the return here, the return is actually only 5.7%. The formula is the same. It's again XIRR. All you need to do is whatever is the agent telling you, if he's giving you in writing, like for example, sometimes what agents tell you is like invest in a policy, but you'll be getting this. Unless he gives in writing, it doesn't work out, right? So enter the dates and also enter the amounts and calculate the XIRR. So till now, what we have seen is for policies which have a fixed return. Are we clear till now, or was I going too fast or anything?
Sounded good to me, but how is it for the others?
Yeah, because I want to know if it is clear or.
Yes, it looks good. It's a working calculator. Yeah.
Okay. So this is one part. Now let's go to the other part.
Yeah, I have a question here. So I'm just putting it the way you are giving me, telling me the dates and the amount we are invested and the amount we are getting back. But when I'm putting the formula, it is showing me the error every time.
Okay,
XIRR, amount, and the dates.
Okay, are you selecting the dates heading also, or you shouldn't be selecting the dates heading? Like, so for example, and also have you entered it as a minus and plus, or have you entered everything as plus?
I have entered minus and plus exactly like you told, and I have selected the dates also.
Okay. Okay. So can I know how many years you have written? We can try it right away here.
16 years. 8-year invested, money back, HDFC Life money back policy, 8 years investment and 8 years return.
Okay. How much is the investment amount?
45,000.
45,000 for 8 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 45,000 for 8 years invested.
The payout is 35,000.
35,000.
Yeah.
35,000 from 10th.
From 9th year, yeah.
9th
and
year.
then there will be some lump sum which I am. There is a lump sum of 2,50,000 rupees.
2,50,000. So is it what you have tried to enter? Like, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you have entered it as XIRR, and you need to select from that the first minus 45,000 till the 2,50,000.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is C2 to C16.
Correct.
And then again select the dates.
Okay.
It is 2.7%.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'll try again. So thank you.
Sure. Yeah. Now the next part. So this is about fixed return policy. So here the advisor might not be able to cheat you because you can always calculate it using the XIRR formula. But there are something called ULIP policies. In that ULIP policy, what the agent, or you keep getting calls, right, from insurance teams and all. So what they tell you is the policy has given you 12% return or 15% return in the past, and they also share a fund performance sheet also. Now that is where it gets tricky, because the agent is telling 12% or 15%, and all the newspapers keep talking about do not mix investment and insurance and all, right? When you're getting 12% in a product, how does it matter if it's an insurance product or a mutual fund, right? So the major part which you are missing there is we need to take inclusion of the charges also. Look, for example, let's say if you're giving me 100 rupees, let's say if I'm charging 10% as charges on that. What I'm trying to say here is, if you give me 100 rupees, I'll charge 10 rupees as charges. That is 10% as charges, which is 10 rupees. The remaining 90 rupees I'm investing, and I'll be able to generate, let's say, 15% return on that. Am I clear here?
You're showing us a sheet. We are seeing the old sheet only.
No. I have not yet started. So what I'm trying to show is, so let's say if you have given me 100 rupees, what I'm saying is my charges is 10% on that. So charges is 10 rupees, right? So how much is being invested? 100 minus 10, which is 90 rupees. Now, all the websites which talk about the returns, they are talking the 12% or 15% on this 90 rupees actually, not on the 100.
Okay.
So now, let's say if you get 18% return on 100 or 90 rupees also, still it is about 16 rupees. So for you, we need to count on 100, right? So on 100, it is only 6%, because on 90 it is 16.2, but even if you include the charges, it is about 16.2, which is about 6% return. I'll just show you a sample here. Just give me 1 second.
Okay, so you're trying to say the perspective of between the guy who invested was minus the charges, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So this is a product which is available in the market, which is of Tata AIA. I'm not naming the product here, but what they say is invest 4 lakhs. I mean, last week a client of was asking this, so that's why I had this ready. So invest 4 lakhs for the next 19 years, and the end of 20th year, you will be getting about 2 crores. Sorry, just a second. Huh? Yeah, 20 lakhs 38,000.
No, 2 crores 3 lakhs.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, 2 crores 3 lakhs 81,081 rupees. So now what the agent was telling him is you will be getting about 12% return on this product, because this is what it has been doing in the past also. So now what we have done is there's something called policy allocation charges, mortality charges, admin charges and all. So we have taken all those into consideration and then seen even if the policy generates 12%, what is the actual return the client is making? So the actual return the client is making is only 9%, because even though the client is investing 4 lakhs, after all the charges, like there is policy allocation charges of 24,000, policy admin charges of 20,000, mortality charges, something for insurance coverage. So all these charges are adding up to about 51,000 there. So even though you're investing 4 lakhs, only 3 lakhs 49,000 is being invested. So on the 3 lakhs 49,000, even if you generate 12% return, the final return is only 9.13%. The point I'm trying to tell here is, so let's say if you're taking a risk of equity, be it a mutual fund or an insurance product, the risk is same, right? If market goes up, you make a profit. If market falls, you'll make a loss. But all you need to see is what are the charges they're taking. If a mutual fund is doing it for 1.5% versus an insurance is doing for like 8-9%, and it's good to go with a mutual fund because the charges are lesser. So the burden is lesser on the overall product.
There are some insurance products that have a very low cost also, right?
Yes. Yeah. Now actually insurance products also have become very competitive. So they charge very less, but then I still wouldn't suggest going with insurance products, because let's say if a fund is not performing, you might not be able to exit out of it, and the liquidity is very low in insurance products.
Correct.
Versus in a mutual fund, you can always exit it whenever you want.
Correct. Okay. So this is just to show people the calculations, right?
Yes.
Trying to understand the row number 1. What does the FMC means that in that?
Okay. Fund management charges. So similar to mutual funds, even insurance companies also have something called fund management charges. So generally it's about 1.35% to 1.5%. So this is for managing the fund.
Okay. Any reason why it is after you have calculated the returns and not while before?
Perfect. Good question. So how it works now in a mutual fund, let's say if you're investing 100 rupees, they do not deduct any charge on day one. The total 100 is invested, and then after it starts growing, the charges is deducted. But in insurance, how it works is, let's say if you're investing an X amount, first all these charges are deducted. So only 3.49 is being invested. After a year, so at the end of first year, let's say if you have got about 41,000 on that 3.49, on that 3.9, this FMC is charged. So FMC is always at the end of the year or end of the period, whatever they're trying to calculate, but all the other charges are deducted on day one itself.
Okay. So it's a percentage usually.
Yes. Yeah.
Super.
One quick question is if you take that XIRR, can you use simple IRR? Will that be very different?
Okay. So now in this, you can even use IRR also. So the only difference between XIRR and IRR is, so for example, if you're paying a premium every 1 year or every month, then it is even cash flows, right? Then you can use even an IRR also. But let's say if you're investing in a mutual fund, you're having an SIP and also you're doing a lump sum amount in between, then there is uneven cash flows, right? So that is why XIRR is helpful. So
okay, got it.
Yeah.
So if the amounts are fixed, then IRR would be okay.
Exactly. You don't even need to enter the dates also. So yeah.
Yeah, then you can take it as year 1, 2, 3 like that numbers.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Instead of that year, if you put year 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 like that.
Yeah, that also can be done. Yeah. I have just used XIRR because that's a single formula which we need to remember, and this is there's very less chances of making a mistake here, even if the cash flow is not even. So yeah.
Perfect.
Hello.
Anything
Hello.
else, Krishna? Yes.
Hello. Yeah, please.
Yeah. In the insurance, the risk is covered, no?
Perfect. Yeah, good question. Now
The risk is covered.
Yeah, 100% true. But for example, let's take the same example here. So here the premium is about 4 lakhs per year. For somebody who is able to pay 4 lakhs per year, he needs to be earning at least, let's say 10-15 lakhs, right? I mean, 4 lakhs is not a small amount. So the coverage which the company will give for somebody who's paying 4 lakhs premium is only 40 lakhs. Now for somebody who's earning about 10-15 lakhs, 40 lakhs is a very less cover. So what I'm trying to say is coverage is very less in insurance policies when there is a combination of investment and insurance. It is better to take a term plan and invest that amount somewhere else rather than getting into a policy just because there is a coverage being given.
How do you differentiate the term plan with that of the insurance?
Perfect. Yeah. So now let's say if you have a car or a bike, you get it insured, right? So if you make a claim, or else you still keep paying a premium there. In a similar way, how it is working in term plans is, for example, let's say today my age is 30. So I have taken a term cover of 2 crores till the age of 60. Now, if God forbid something happens to me before I turn 60, my wife or whoever is the nominee, she'll be getting about 2 crores. But if I survive till the end, nobody will be getting anything. Now, this looks like a bad option, but what is happening is I'm only paying about 12,000 per year for this one. So with a yearly premium of 12,000, I'm getting a 2 crore coverage. So that is a very good thing rather than investing in these kind of policies where they take lakhs of rupees and still give you, let's say, 20-30 lakhs of coverage, which doesn't make really, which wouldn't help my family even if something goes wrong.
Right. Thank you.
Superb. Any other questions for Krishna? Krishna, that
Yeah,
was
one more, please.
Yeah.
If your age is 60,
okay,
how does a term plan works out?
Okay, term plan is only needed when you have financial liabilities. Like for example, let's say if somebody is dependent on you, then only there's a financial liability, right? I mean, if you put aside the personal loss, for a person who's age 60, generally all his financial liabilities would have been taken care of, his children are settled and all. So term plan is not required. And even if somebody wants a term plan, there is something called an income proof required. So for a person who is 60, generally is retired, right? So a term plan is not issued to them.
Okay, thank you.
good. Any other questions, guys, for Krishna?
Krishna, thank you very much. It was a very good insight on the HDFC Sanchay plan, which you explained. So I could see on my policy, I am only getting a return of 3 to 4%, which is very less from what could I get if I invest in a proper tools. So it's a very good insight. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it just opened up the eyes, because a lot of times what Krishna rightly mentioned was the people who try to sell you this product tell about the return as 12%, but very few actually realize that it is 9% because we don't know about these charges that are there, or we make a mistake by calculating it at the by including the charges as the investment amount.
Yeah, and the time value of money. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great. By now, about 12 eyes must have opened for Praneeth. Every time he says, he's opened my eyes. Okay, great. Great. Krishna, any more questions for Krishna? Krishna, that was very lucid, very easy to understand explanation. Huh? Thank you so much. I really
Thank you. Thanks,
appreciate you taking that time. Guys, wasn't that awesome?
Yes.
Thumbs up for Krishna.
Anytime, anytime.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks,
So much.
Harsha. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Guys, thank you so much. So this is something that we wanted to share to let you know what kind of investment returns you get from your products, policies, or whatever investment options are presented to you, so that you don't sign on that dotted line just without doing your due diligence. Okay, you'll ask these questions: what is the return that I'll get on this policy? What is the risk that I'm taking up? And then only sign on that dotted line. Is that clear? Okay. Okay. So how much returns do you need? We just spoke about it. It could be, so we just spoke about how to calculate returns of investments. Okay. Now, how much returns do you need on your investments? So that is important, right? So is 9% good because that particular product gave 9%? Is it good? Or should you get more than 9%, 12%, 15%, 18%, or jitna bhi milta hai? So give it all to me, right? So how do you make that decision? How much returns do you need? So Sumit very rightly pointed out, you should get at least returns that beat your personal inflation, for which you need to do your budgeting. Okay? So that you know where you're spending your money, and so that you know how your expenses are increasing, so that you can have some kind of a control over how much returns you need. Okay. So, but whenever you ask for more returns than risk-free returns, remember that you're taking risks. Today, risk-free returns are 5%. Okay, if you're asking for 8% returns also, there is an element of risk to it. Okay, even if you're asking, let's say 12% returns, and most of you on your chat box at 12%, remember that you're asking for 100% more than risk-free return, which means you're taking on some risk. Isn't it? You're taking on risk, right? Now, what do we do with risk? So there is risk in everything. So you can choose to say that, oh, risk is something that I don't want. I want safety, safety, safety. Then you give up on, a potential higher return, or it's a trade-off that you make. right? And there are many ways in many ways to calculate risk, right? There are statistical measures. There is something called trainer's ratio, Sharpe's ratio, standard deviation. There's something called value at risk, VAR, or C-VAR, conditional value at risk. There are a lot of these numbers are thrown at us whenever you look at any investment product, or you talk to a fund manager or a mutual fund advisor. They throw, this product has a Sharpe ratio of 2.71. Like, okay, so what does that mean? So there was one paper that I flunked in MBA, and that was a statistics paper, and it is terrible. I mean, I can't wrap my my head around this whole calculation of risk and the number that they give to risk. Of course, there is a science to it, but I have a very simple method to understand risk. Okay, and this is something that I use personally, and I advocate for all my clients also. There are a set of questions that I ask a particular investment option if somebody is explaining it to me. And if I understand that risk, I just go ahead and take it. Does it make sense? Do you want to know what kind of questions you could ask to understand risk? In simple words, if you understand the numbers, go ahead and understand standard deviation, Sharpe, guys. I have no problems. Please go ahead and understand. Krishna might be probably some point in time willing to explain those things to us. But I have something that's even more simpler, intuitive. Okay, would you like to know? Okay, so this is the set of questions that I ask. Okay, I'll tell you how I use this today. What is the worst that can happen? If I make this investment, what is the worst that can happen? That's question number one. Next is, what is the worst that has happened? Okay, you won't know what will happen in the future. Anything could happen. Nobody foresaw COVID and all that stuff. Fair enough. Okay, now tell me, what is the worst that has happened? Okay, what's the worst that has happened? And under what circumstances did that happen? So in equity markets, we say something like the worst that has happened in a 3-year period is 41% drop, which happened in 1998 to 2001 when the dot-com bust happened. Somebody invested in the peak of the market during the dot-com boom, and then was forced to exit in 2001 when the dot-com bust happened. Right? That was the circumstance under which the worst happened. Then, how likely is it that the circumstances will repeat themselves? Remember that we are doing some rear view mirror watching. Okay, it's not necessarily indicative of the future, but what to do? All the data that we have is of the past only. So we have to go with some amount of understanding of the past. So how likely is that the circumstances will repeat themselves? And next is, how badly will it affect you or your goals if the worst happens? How bad will it be? Will I come on the road? Will I go to jail or something if the worst happens, right? And will you be all right with it? If the risk happens also, will you be all right with it? These are my questions. If not, how can you manage that risk? Now, I was having this conversation. There was this whole thing about crypto ban and all that. And you guys know my view on crypto. I'm a crypto investor. And I was talking to this person saying, they're talking about the crypto ban and all that. And he gave me this long winding thing about crypto ban and worldwide, this is the rule and this. I said, okay, cut it all. Please tell me, what is the worst that can happen? He said the worst that can happen is that they will ask you to liquidate all your holding, and they'll give you a window of 3 months to liquidate your holding, and further on you can't invest in crypto. I said, okay, can I go to jail because I did something that is banned? Like, no, you may go to jail if you invest after it is banned. But right now, if you invest, then you will not go to jail. Okay. So the worst that will happen is that I will have to liquidate my current holding, and further on I can't invest, right? So how badly will that impact me? Nothing, right? So it's not going to be too bad. It's all right. I will still be able to take my money out and I'll be all right with it. I can live with that kind of risk. That's it. So that it's simple decision making on risk. This is my theory. Okay. People might have more complicated, more elaborate investment theories. But to me, when you make an investment, this is what you have to say. If you're putting all your money into one investment, you will not be all right with things going wrong. If you're putting a small amount of money into some investment, and if it goes wrong also, you'll be okay. Okay, diversification is what we are talking. Is this making sense, guys? Am I talking any sense at all? Is this making sense?
Yeah, you're making some sense.
Okay, some sense is good. Okay, but because risk is, so in wealth management, we believe that all that you can do is manage the risk. Returns are what will come. You can't really do much about it. Now, if you're not okay with this risk, what can you do? What can you do? Okay, so then you have some risk management ideas. So what are risk management ideas? What can you do? So there are only 3 ways of responding to any risk. You know things will go wrong. You don't know what will go wrong. Sometimes you know this will happen or that will happen. One of them is not useful for you, right? So one thing that you can do is you can avoid the risk, right? I'll say, no, I don't want it. I don't want this whole janjat with banned investments and all that. I don't want to go there. Okay. I can make that decision. Or I can say, I will reduce my risk by, like how they say, right? You sit in the house, there is no risk. If you go out, there is risk. Okay, but you can't sit in the house all the time. You have to go out because you have to see the world, you have to do your business and all. So what will you do? You wear your helmet, you wear your seatbelt, you do some kind of a risk reduction mechanism, and then you go out there and see the world, right? So that's risk reduction. So what kind of risk reduction can you do? You can hedge your investments, you can diversify your investments, you can time diversify your investments. Instead of putting all your eggs into one basket, you can do asset class diversification. You can buy insurances against them. You can buy put options if it's equity markets. You can hedge your position. So these are various ways of reducing the risk. Okay. And then lastly, you can accept the risk. You can say, yeah, okay, I can live with this risk. No problem. I will just accept the risk. And you know that you're accepting the risk and still getting into it because you know if you take this risk, this will be the outcome. Right? So the people who leave their jobs and then we saw so many people who want to now move on and do something, it's risky, right? But you still do it, you accept that risk because you know if you take this risk, you have something better coming along the way, right? So these are various risk management ideas. Today's discussion on risk management, we will do a little more in-depth conversation some point in time. Is this making sense? Okay. So all of you had rated these things, right? We remembered this. Now I want to ask you one question. Okay? Depending on what you are investing for, will your priorities change? You said that safety is your number one priority. Returns and safety, the safety ranked as the top two priorities, and liquidity is the top two priorities for most of you all. Okay. If what you are investing for changes, will your priorities change? Okay. Now tell me if this, what is the priority? Okay, I am going to mute you all now. Sorry. Okay, so these things happen. Sorry. Okay, what is priority if you are investing for going on holiday? Put it on the chat. Put on the chat because I muted you. What is the priority if you're investing for going on holiday? What is your priority? Will it be low risk or high return or easy liquidity or low cost? What will your priority be? I'm not talking about the priority of the goal. What will your priority be if you are investing for saving up? So, Harsh was sharing that he wants to save up to buy the car because we don't do loans, right? In 10 crore league, we don't do loans. So we're saving up to buy a car, right? So what will you look for? Satya says, easy liquidity. Yes, you don't know when that offer will come. When that offer comes, then you want to buy at the lowest possible price. You want to buy that ticket, right? So liquidity will be your number one priority. Correct? Perfect. Very good. Yeah, you guys are getting it. Okay. What will be your priority if you're investing to repay your loan? You're tired of paying EMIs, so you want to repay your loan. What will be your priority if you're investing for repaying your loan? Safety. Correct. You don't want to lose capital because this is something that you want to get rid of. Yes. Safety of capital will be your close the loan. Yes. So when you're investing to close the loan, then your priority will be safety of your capital. So you're not going to be making equity-based investments for 6 months so that you can, repay your loan. Correct. No. What will be your priority if you're investing to create multi-generational wealth? What will be your priority if you're investing to create multi-generational wealth? Yes, getting high returns will be your priority because you're creating multi-generational wealth. Yes. High returns. And when you say safety as well, you're looking for a high return generating asset with protecting your risks, right? So you do risk management with a high risk investment. Good. Great. What will be your priority if you're investing for, let's say, your niece's wedding in the next 3 years? Next 3 years. Next 3 years. What will be your priority? You'll save, of course, but where will you invest? When you invest for saving up for this money, what will be your priority? It's not for your own child's wedding, okay? It's for your niece's wedding. Safety and liquidity. Okay, I'm leaving these thoughts with you. Yes, balance funds, medium risk. Correct. Some amount of risk is good. If you make more money, maybe you can give her more money, right? So yeah, so to each his own, right? So the point that I'm only making is there is no one solution for the investment decision. So you first look at what goals you are investing for, and then decide what is important for achieving this particular goal, and then go back and see which investment will give me what I want. Which investment will give me what I want? Is this making sense to you? So it all starts with goal setting. Visioning, goal setting, what's your big goal for the year? Yeah? Is this making sense to you guys? Great. Okay. So this is pretty much what we wanted to share with you in today's session. Remember this, every single time you say yes to something, you are inadvertently saying no to something else. Okay, when you say I want high returns, remember what you are saying no to. When you say I want safety, remember what you're saying no to. When you're saying yes to something, you are saying no to something else. So choose wisely. Right, guys? So also one last thing, okay, 1 minute video I want to show you. We made this, so I'm very excited about it. Now, our investments for us is only a tool. It's a means to an end. Our end is 10 crores. Our end is wealth creation. Okay, so let's look at this little video that we made. Isn't this awesome? So proud of this. Okay, so that's pretty much that. This is what I wanted to share with you guys. And that pretty much brings us. So quickly, we are at 5:30, so we want to build it. You know, we like to close on time. So quickly, what has been your key takeaway from today's session? Put it on the chat, guys. We are vain people. We need this feedback all the time. So please put it on chat. What your key takeaways for the year has been, for the session has been. If you want to share something, unmute yourself. Share very quickly. And it's a Sunday evening. We want to go back. Okay?
Yeah, I have one option here.
Yes.
How about chits run by the group, which makes at least 18-20% per annum?
Okay, so we did talk about chits, right, to begin with. We spoke about the option of chits as an investment option. And if you can calculate the returns in some way, then maybe it will work. And then the risk, of course, is how good the group is. Right, so if we understand the risk and we understand the returns, any investment could make sense for you. Is that making sense?
Yeah.
First goals, then risk factors, then invest, like the Excel presentation, XIR, awesome, Krishna. My first session, happy to be part of the group. Very good, great. Thank you guys. I really enjoy all this energy and I truly appreciate this opportunity to be there with you. We're looking at putting a lot of things together. Sure. Yeah, Praneeth, I make that available. Right? We're looking at doing all of this. Okay. So this is in our plan, which means we're going to be talking investments over the next 4-5 odd months, almost. Various investment options, equities, traditional products, new age products, crypto. We'll try and get speakers. So we'll try and do that. So the conversations about investments are going to go on for some time. It's just the first session. So the idea was to lay down the basics and understand that, goals first, understanding priorities second, and investment options third, despite which we have to understand more about those investment options, right? So thank you very much for joining us today. Have a great Sunday, and please don't forget to like us and share content that we share on Facebook and on LinkedIn. Please feel free to invite your friends to join the group. And does anybody play music here? Okay, I'm not too good with music, okay? But so I'm just going to read it out. We can all read this out together. I'm just in love with this jungle. So can we go? We dream big dreams. We believe we can. We plan to act. We act on our plan. We are doers. We are givers. We are the 10 crore leaguers, guys. So amazing. Thank you so much for being part of this session. I will look to meet you again in March. What date will it be? The first week of March. First Sunday of March would be 1st of March. Okay, so it's going to be the 1st of March. Great. Okay, so we're going to meet again on the 1st of March. Till then, you have a great month of Feb, and I'll keep you posted if there's going to be.
The 7th.
This is 7th of March.
7th of March.
7th of March. Okay.
First is Monday.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, 1st is Monday. So sorry, I'm looking at the wrong calendar. I'm looking at 2020. So 7th of March. Great. So we're meeting exactly 1 month from now, and I look forward to meet you again. Yes. So mid-month mixer. If we come up with something interesting, I will keep you posted on the mid-month mixer. If you have ideas for mid-month mixer, let me know. So we might have a mid-month mixer. I'll let you know about it. We are in talks to somebody, so we might have something interesting come up. I'll keep you posted. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. If you're not on the WhatsApp group, what can I do? 1 minute. Should I send that link on the WhatsApp? Are you all on the WhatsApp group? Is there anybody who's not on the WhatsApp group? Okay, I'm going to stop sharing here. And WhatsApp group link. Okay, so let me open the.
I'll add Nasman to the WhatsApp group, Bhuvna. I've taken a note of it.
You've taken it? Okay. So can we share that link to join the WhatsApp group right here?
I'll just find it. I'll just find it. Just a minute.
Okay. So great. Okay, just a minute. For those of you who are not on the WhatsApp, others can go. Yes. So there is a link there to join the WhatsApp group. So in case you're not part of the WhatsApp group, please feel free to click there and you're welcome. We are happy to take, I think we have a limit of 250 or something. So we're only at about 170 or 180. We can take more people, more the merrier. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, one more request.
Yes, please.
How about talked about the budget? How does it affect our investment? Could somebody give an expert advice on that in some mid-monthly?
Okay, so the budget, actually we did have a conversation about it. There was just so much, there were just two things on the budget that was relevant for us. One was the EPF and one was the ULIP, taxation on the ULIP. Otherwise there wasn't really much, but I hear what you're saying. The mid-month mixture, let just give me some time to come about that.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Harsh Ba's session, she's not responding to me. I don't know what to do. I don't know whether that session happened or not. So the moment she shares something with me, I'm going to share it in the group. Okay, I know you guys been looking forward to it, but I've been calling her and asking her, but she hasn't been keeping good health a little bit in the back. So I'm hoping she's recovered very well. And if she's up to doing long sessions, then she will keep us posted, and I will keep you posted.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for turning up, and see you all. Bye. Have a great Friday.
Bye.
February. Bye.